Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. Dogboat333, and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, The New Order. Last days of Europe as the Komi Republic. For how long it will stay the Komi Republic is to be determined, but we're there now. Also, I just noticed what the fuck happened here. Oh my god, that is cool, but wow. Anyway, in the last video, we started up an old classic Komi campaign, and we've skipped ahead to into the unknown and the elections. A little bit of a while you were gone update. I somehow killed Andrei Zhdanov. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but he's fucking dead. Everyone else seems to be alive. Gumilov has a bit more influence than he maybe should, but the right wing currently has the most influence, so we'll see how that translates in the elections. Go ahead and click some of these buttons. And see how that ends up helping us. So I think we're just waiting for the elections to go. And there we go. The results are in. It appears that Igor Shafarvich has been elected as president. Was it simply a dissatisfaction with the status quo, a mad sense of radicalism, or was it something about Shafarvich personally that elevated him above the other candidates? Either way, Shafarvich now stood before the National Assembly, not as a deputy, but as president of the Republic. His inaugural speech, facing packed observer boxes, the nervous assembly, Viktor Shafarvich laid out his plans for Komi. People of the Republic, we can surely agree that the people have spoken electing the Russian National Party. We made great progress in recovering from the bombings, lowering the death toll, and attracting people who live in our great republic. I do not wish to harm any of those advances. However, we must not forget what we have been, and what we must not leave behind. We must not forget the tenets of compassion, faith, of love for our motherland. In addition, we should not strive to fall to the enemies of our republic and people, the threats of communism, of German influence, and the Russophobia that agents of foreign nations seek to subvert our great republic with. We must adhere blindly to a system that has allowed for these threats to rise. In fact, it is our duty to fight against these menaces where they arise. I call upon the proud Russians of the Republic, for our illustrious National Assembly, to stand for the best that we can be, face the elements of our culture and our nation, and against the enemies that face us. Shafarvich's speech fit such a suave and skilled politician. However, left-wing critics of Shafarvich's election have pointed to the accusations of anti-Semitism and veiled hatred within his words, along with his continued connections to the right-wing extremist groups. With a member of the RNP in the highest office in the Republic, only time will tell if President Shafarvich was the right choice for Komi, but the people have spoken. I like that they added that Shafarvich can just be elected now, off the bat. I think that's pretty neat, personally. Ooh, we have our own little tree and all that. We're gonna go ahead and let's do the Shafarvich presidency. Hurrah! After much difficult campaigning, Igor Shafarvich has finally achieved the mark of the office of president. This momentous occasion marks a drastic shift in the trajectory of Komi's future, trusted to us by its most patriotic citizens. More importantly, marks a rejection of the previously corrupt and Bolshevik-allied DSNP and the rest of the center. With his election, Komi's right now has the power to pursue its agenda with full confidence. Years of being hindered by the opposition are no more, as we can enact the rightful reforms in full that we have been denied for so long. It is their turn to complain, and ours to call the shots. Excellent. You love to see it. You really do. Still having the reduction of all that, but we currently have Guy Democracy. I don't know if these are the same guys, but I don't know. So here we are, Igor Shafarvich of the Intelligentsia. We get a hit to political power game, which is a bit of a bomb, but we do get some research speed, which is nice. Igor Rostislavovich Shafarvich is many things to many people. Reactionary, Democrat, reformist, radical, anti-Semite, patriot. But there's one thing that people do not call him, it is unintelligent. Shafarvich, born to a moderately successful family living in Moscow, was from a young age gifted at mathematics. Remarkable genius for his age, he was enrolled at a university-level math course, even entering his final undergrad year at Moscow University without having finished the 9th grade. His future never seemed brighter until the Germans arrived. Forced to flee Moscow, he was evacuated to the east. In Komi, never see Moscow again. As Russia was consumed in warlordism, Shafarvich became involved in politics in Komi, a rum state carved up after failures that was the West Russian War. There he rose up in the ranks of the right-wing Passionary organization, leading the party's moderate faction, much to the charge of Gumilov and his faction. Devolving a right-wing ideology known as the passionate conservatism, Shafarvich has made himself popular among the more reformist rightists in the party, those favoring working within the democratic system. Despite this, he's been accused of fascism, anti-Semitism, and his hatred of the small nation, a group of anti-national elites whose values are completely at odds with Russia, echoes that of the hatred of Jews and other minority groups. Now, as leader of Komi, will fully implement his vision of a better, more stable order. Well, we'll see how that works out, won't we? We might not... Coalition government in the Philippines? Interesting. I'll zoom out and show you guys what happened. I think, Finland kept their government. I don't know if that happened or not. Irkutsk is winning. Amur won over here. Mr. Men appeared. And, the OFN ended up winning in Madagascar. And we have the coalition government in the Philippines. So we'll see what ends up happening there, won't we? Anyway, the results of the election are in the collected Passionary Associated Far-Right Coalition, once considered a fringe group, has won a majority in the National Assembly, as Democrats and leftists awaken after a hard-fought election and listen to the radio reports in shock. It has become apparent that the right-wing discontent in the Republic was far greater than has ever been imagined. Even while the opponents of the far-right contest the elections through every channel available to them, leaders of the RNP, Passionary, ORP, and OVRI within the National Assembly hold hurried meetings to determine their new agenda. Originally expected to defeat the radicals decisively, these elections have instead demonstrated the hubris of center coalition. While protests that mix with Soviet and Republican flags spill onto the streets across Syktyvkar, and the judges order recount after recount in close districts, it seems the Republic spirals closer and closer to the very visions of the far right. Perhaps the end of a democratic governance entirely. The end of the Republic? Perhaps. We have a hit to stability, which is a bit of a pain, but what are you going to do? I'm digging the music, by the way. That is funky. Do I have the music mod going? I forget. Is this? This is the HoI 4 soundtrack. Okay. Ooh, can't access this, but I guess this is where the super event music is from. The residence of Igor Shafarevich had long been of little known to the politics of the Republic, despite his relative prominence. He had few visitors over, since he liked to think that he preferred the quiet solitude of a lovely evening than the trappings of a social visit. As he sipped on a glass of water, he felt his dinner digest. As the evening sunset cast shadows over Syktyvkar, the newly elected president noticed his feet wandering over his apartment's balcony. The fresh, frigid air gripped the mathematician-turned-politician's skin despite his clothes, and he held the water in his hand. He felt his mind wander towards the future. Shafarvich had worked hard to create his coalition, to grow grassroots support in Gumilov's camp and among the more radical members of the Democratic right. He brought to mind all the manipulation, all the backstabbing, betrayal, blackmail, and underhanded tactics that he had employed during his years as a politician in the Komi Republic. Reflecting on what he had done to get elected, a single thought crossed his mind. He didn't regret it. Not a single thing that he did he considered below what was necessary to save Russia. "I'd do it again," he said, to no one in particular. Thinking about what he'd said in his mind, he amended his statement. "I will do it all again." The wind picked up as the president-elect looked down upon the streets of the capital. The sun was setting, but it felt as if Shafarvich's work had just begun. A sleepless night. Interesting. So, we're the National Conservatives. Should we get a description of that? Let's go ahead and describe that. The past 20 years of human civilization have shown, above all else, that might truly does make right. It is a strong nations, the nations which are united, that have the best chances of winning out on the world stage. Anyone who wishes to replicate their success should also replicate their rigid sense of nationhood. This is where national conservatism comes from. A deeply right-wing ideal, national conservatives believe that the unity of the particular nation is paramount to all other social goals, that this unity is maintained by upholding the nation's unique traditions. The state becomes an organ by which the national cohesion is strengthened, and although many national conservatives support laissez-faire economic policies, others believe that the state should provide for the people in a paternalistic capacity. Many of these conservatives emphasize the differences between their ideas and those of fascists. Many more are perfectly willing to collaborate with fascists wherein there is an alignment of goals. Whether or not the ideology can survive in a world dominated by fascism is yet to be seen. Well, we lead the passionary and the paternal and the despot. Serov has a fascist. Tabby has the National Socialists. I feel like these two could be swapped and it wouldn't make as much more sense, but that's just a little slight observation I have. Do we still have the generals? We do, it looks like. Okay. I'm looking at all this real quick, just to figure out. I guess I could probably wait a little bit. Let us go ahead and do a compassionate state. A key part of the Russian National Party's platform is the idea of a compassionate state. This model envisions the state as being composed of the everyday citizen, receptive to the needs of its fellows. All of our citizens' needs will be taken care of by our benevolent government, as only we know the best course for their future and all of Komi. This will be the first reform of our agenda done. The previous government's cold and despondent approach will be replaced with our ever-caring one. Also help us further isolate the degeneracy of Bolsheviks from the citizenry as we come to our way of thinking. Sure. I don't see why not. So how are you all doing today? I'm doing all right. I had a class today, taking a 19th century European history, and I also have a Marx and the Human Condition class, but that got canceled, which I was considering ditching anyway. So that helps me a little bit with my decision. I ended up coming home early and relaxed a little bit. Did some cleaning up because I'm not home usually until Sunday nights, and then I have to leave Fridays, and I usually stay with my family until then. But I decided to go ahead and come home today instead of just going down there, which is going to cost me a bit of gas, which is a bit of pain nowadays, but I want to come back, especially record some of this, so here we are. The recent victory of the RP in the elections, Shafarvich has been swept into the power to destroy the corruption endemic in our republic. The days of Komi being a corrupt and weak republic are over, and it is time that everyone puts forth their best work towards the foundation of a better, moral republic, a republic that doesn't have the underlying threats of socialism or insanity that hide between us. Shafarvich and the RP will tear down the corrupt democracy for a more pure and stable one that actually cares for the security of its people. Komi must not be allowed to destroy itself, and we are the ones who can save it. Okay. We have a Yegorov. Right, he's the new leader of the front. I remember hearing about that. So it looks mostly the same for the most part. What? He's dead? I never would have seen that coming. Oh, we could use some more stability, so let's try and get some. So, let's do the limits of patience. Despite the deep values of patience and compassion that are included in the ideology of RP, there exist in Komi worrying machinations of the enemies of the people's will, the communists and radicals. These groups are too drastic to ignore and must be dealt with accordingly. Enemies of the Republic cannot be allowed to exist, for if they continue to work in the background, these terrorists will slowly destroy our values and morals, until the Republic is left in a decaying husk. Actions must be taken to save Republic from these internal threats, and we must destroy them first before they destroy us. Fair enough. Oh, that's Serbia. Okay. 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 That's interesting. German Civil War. These guys have a new name. This is all very, very interesting. I think this is going to lead to Denmark skeleton content, because I think they have skeleton content. I forget if I was supposed to drop in Europa's Narbon or not. And then Burgundy into the French state. The end of the Russian Commissariat. Curious what's going to happen in Sweden. Or one's, well, that as well as when the Swedish content is going to drop. Ostland has chaos breaking out. Pensions. Poverty. Subsidies as well. I'd like to get our poverty rate improving as soon as we can, actually. I might go Triumph of Purpose. We'll do recentered welfare. A vile leftover of the Soviets under Bukharin and Lenin have been their deplorable policy of affirmative action. Through this, certain undeserving and ignorant groups have been stealing welfare and jobs from perfectly capable citizens. Meanwhile, those who need it in the villages starve in agony over the neglect they have received. Today, this wretched practice ends. Success will be determined by hard work, except in those instances where geography and isolation create trouble. No longer will these groups steal from us. Instead, the government's money will be directed towards helping out our isolated populations in the countryside. With this, everyone will be truly equal in society, regardless of their race or creed. Had to self-censor myself a little bit there. Don't want to get demonetized right off the bat in the second episode. Shafarvich held the memo, controlling what had been a shaking hand seconds ago. Contents of the memo were treasonous, deeply damning, and extremely dangerous. The Ministry of Defense had been meeting without him. That alone was suspicious, but what they'd been speaking about. Fuck! Those roaches, those goddamn blood-sucking parasites. They think they can replace me? I made them, goddammit! Of all the phrases in this document, possible regime change jumped out at him again and again. Was he in danger? Who could he trust? Shafarvich slumped down to his chair, finger resting on his lip as he seethed in thought. No, he reasoned, this could work to his advantage. The document had named names, including those who had dissented to the possible regime change. Could he trust those voices? No, they still kept the meetings from him, but they could serve as potential allies. Trust was in short supply those days, and as Shafarvich himself has observed not too long ago, Komis were no stranger to coups. Something would have to be done, and soon. A little bit of blackmail might help grease the wheels. Reveal certain ministers that he knew about these meetings and bent them to his service. Now, somewhat calm, Shafarvich picked up his phone and began to dial. Hello, Slukin. And then the bombers have stopped at least. Clear skies, but dark clouds. Finally get a nice increase to all of our, we get all these debuffs removed. Get some extra military factories, which is very, very nice. We could use some guns, so we could work on guns, anti-tank. Yeah, we researched a new generation vacays. Hopefully will give us a little bit of a bonus. We'll get that going. Spidel's in control of Germania? Let's get some claymores. I like that. Tech tree's nice and a little bit more developed. Milorg, a thick Himmler, trying to pronounce that through the abbreviation. Trying to have some fun. I'm already having fun, of course, but have a bit more fun, of course. Who is that? Indonesia. And heroes. English Civil War begins. Formation of the Africa Shield. And that's my time for the day, but I'll go ahead and give it some time. Sukarno. It's not that guy's prime minister. Interesting. And that's Civil War in Ukraine. Interesting all around. Well, I might as well leave it here, ladies and gentlemen. So, as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of this content feature, hit that sub button for uploads weekdays, as well as occasionally Saturdays. If you have any comments, feedback, concern, anything of the sort, leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments again and appreciate any and all feedback you might have for me. If you want to chat or play games or anything of the sort, check out my Discord down link below. Check out the other various links as well. My Twitch, second channel, Patreon. And as always, if you have any comments, feedback, or anything of the sort, leave in the comment section below. I read all the comments again. Appreciate any and all feedback you might have for me. That's really it for now, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you for watching. My name has been Mr. Dogboat333, and I'll see you next time. Bye.